Build the fire.
Somebody got shot. So she can see. No, Biggie got shot. Oh, Lord, fuck shit. They can kicking. Oh, somebody got shot. Yeah, that was five shots fired. Oh, look at that wreck. Y'all, crank up the car, please. I'm ready to go. We got to get out. Security. I wonder why they was running.
It was just real quick. They kept trying to get a sketch, and we just knew he was black, and he had a bow tie.
A few people who were on the street also helped the cops put together a composite.
Using various eyewitness descriptions, a composite artist pieces together a sketch of the killer. He is smooth-faced, with a medium complexion and fade haircut, wearing a light blue suit and bow tie.
Witnesses said the shooter looked like a member of the Fruit of Islam, which is the security wing of the Nation of Islam.
There's a certain uniform look that the Fruits of Islam people have, and this guy had it to the T. There have long been stories in law enforcement about members of the Fruits of Islam working as contract killers.
On March 10th, the day after the shooting, detectives hold a press conference to present the sketch of the shooter.
I believe when we make the arrest, and I'm hoping that there will be a very good similar appearance between our composite and the murder suspect.
The release of the composite generates a barrage of phone calls, but no new leads. However, it does jar the memory of Eugene Deal, the bodyguard who had been riding in Puffy's Suburban.
When investigators spoke with Eugene Deal, he placed a man that matched the description of the shooter outside the entrance to the Vibe party.
The guy had walked directly towards Puff's car. He had a blue suit, bow tie. We look at each other eye to eye. He didn't say anything to me. Nothing. I made sure that he knew I was good. You understand? And he looked at me, walked away, and walked right back down the street, basically out of sight.
I believe the shooter was watching every move that the Biggie Smalls entourage was making.
Early on in the investigation, police make what some see as a critical error. At a press conference, they reveal that the murder weapon was a 9mm.
It was a very fast sequence of events with a 9mm weapon.
To give the information out, to me, it was a mistake. Lieutenant Morin let the information out, and he came back to me like 3 minutes later, and he apologized for doing that, because if I was the suspect, if I had a 9mm gun, what would I do with my gun? Would I keep it? Heck no, that thing's gone.
Bruh, before we left Andre Harrell's house, Puff told me I didn't have to go. Now, I went because I knew that somebody was going to die that night. Ninety-seven percent of those people would say he had no business in LA at that time. We all knew that. Why would Puff rent studio time? Come on, man, look. You gotta look at what people do, man. You know Pac just got killed. It ain't no kind of business Big was doing. Big couldn't even walk. He couldn't run. They was pushing him around in a wheelchair, brother. Why the hell would you rent studio? Why the hell would you rent studio time in LA for him to finish your album when in fact you got your own studio, Daddy's house? Let's keep it a buck. Let's stop this bullshit, man. He did not want the beef with the Crips. Puff ain't want the beef with the Dog Pound, Snoop them or whatever. Big started that beef.
Gunning it. Tone's a maniac in driving, but every time he get to like 90, the car would go all the way back down because it had some kind of government chip on that particular Suburban.
For safety reasons, Suburbans from 1995 to 1998 included a mandatory chip that would automatically reduce speed when the vehicle exceeded 90 miles per hour. A valve connected to the fuel pump closes, cutting gas flow to the engine, slowing the car down.
Where's this cat go? I don't know, man. Did they make a left?
He got out of our sight, and we didn't have a chance. That was real frustrating. So we went back to the scene of the shooting.
As Puffy's bodyguards give up the chase, a 911 call is made at 12:49 a.m. Police dispatch sends out an emergency call.
Shots fired, reported at 6060 Wilshire Boulevard. All units in the area respond.
Now, when we get back to Big's car, we decide we're gonna take him to the hospital.
We ran every light, jumping on the curb, sidewalks. We was trying the quickest way to get him to the hospital.
I was talking to him, but I wasn't hearing anything. He wasn't saying anything.
So we get to the hospital.
My street depth, meaning that I'm a little more seasoned where the streets are concerned. And Puff, Biggie is somewhat surface deep to a certain extent. You gotta call it like it is. I saw that a mile away, and it was important for me to explain to them the possibilities and the things that I was hearing, you know, but just automatically it would register to me, you know, after what had happened with Pac and assumptions of them having something to do with it or the hate that was in the air for them, period. Even before that took place, this wasn't a place to be. You have to really have experience where the streets are concerned to even begin to understand what can happen. And I think if they would have really been a little more depth where the streets were concerned, they wouldn't have been here like that.
And a few cohorts who were never caught. It has been speculated that Rafael Perez was a part of that heist. David Mack would never talk to LAPD investigators. And the money that was stolen, which was close to $800,000, was never found, ever.
I guess Suge was locked up. When Reggie Wright came to everybody and got the information from Dave Kenner and all that stuff about what they needed to be done, the night Biggie was killed, and Perez went that morning and verified his body at the morgue and all that stuff. But they was also supposed to kill Sean Puffy Combs. Perez went that morning and verified his body at the morgue. The night Biggie was killed, and Perez went that morning and verified his body at the morgue and all that stuff. But they was also supposed to kill Sean Puffy Combs, and they didn't get it done. You know, James was supposed to cut both of them off. You know, James was supposed to cut both of them off, and they didn't get it done. You know, James was supposed to cut both of them off. You know, James was supposed to cut both of them off. The officer Gaines. A lot of people don't know that Gaines was seriously involved in this. He was supposed to cut both vehicles off while another guy come around and shoot him. So Suge backed out of the deal. He was supposed to pay a certain amount of money, and he backed out. So that's why Mack and Perez did the bank job in order to pay Amir, because he was on amount of money, and he backed out. So that's why Mack and...
He said, what do you think I should do? I got some shows in London, and you...
Investigators fly to New York to interview Sean Puffy Combs and other members of Biggie's entourage who had left Los Angeles.
According to the detective I talked to, Puffy was not willing to give a lot of detail and very vague in his answers and didn't answer a lot of questions.
Well, he didn't want to be involved in this. He didn't want it, you know, the stain attached to his company and his reputation. I'm pretty sure that was part of it.
Puff begged Big to go to that party. Big didn't want to go to that party because his legs was hurt.
I think, some weight of conscience about that and not wanting people to know that he was responsible for Biggie being there.
I've spoken to the police. Everybody that was there spoke to the police. But I don't know who did this. I don't have an idea, and it's not right for people to speculate until the police find out, exactly what's going on.
On March 13th, detectives have the bullet casings found at the scene analyzed. Technicians coat the bullet casings in a vaporized glue that makes fingerprints visible. There are no fingerprints found on the casings from the Biggie shooting scene.
It's a disappointment.
Well, 100 homicides. I think I maybe gave maybe 2 or 3 fingerprints off of bullets.
It's March 17th, 8 days after Biggie's murder. Detectives have a composite sketch of the shooter, but no firm suspects or promising leads. Then, America's Most Wanted provides a tip that seemingly could bust the case wide open.
A Texas woman came forward and contacted America's Most Wanted and said she had videotape that she took that night. And so America's Most Wanted contacted the police department.
I was told that the actual shooting was on the video.
They were very excited about it and flew to Texas to get the videotape.
It didn't actually capture the shooting. They was focusing on Biggie's car when the shots were fired. The camera just went shaky, shaky, shake, like, you're nervous.
There was no smoking gun. They couldn't see the license plate. They couldn't see the shooter.
The video was essentially useless, and they were back at square one.
Coming up, one theory of the
so she can see. No, Lord, oh, Lord, fuck shit. Oh, they can chicken. Oh, somebody got so yeah, that was 5. Yeah, that was 5 shots fired. Oh, look at that wreck. Y'all, crank up the car, please. I'm ready to go. We got to get out. Security. I wonder why they was running
UK, should I stay here or leave? I said leave. Come back another time, because they don't like you out here, and they're very volatile, and guns, they, like, motherfuckers will walk up and shoot people, literally. Walk up and shoot with AKs and kill people. Was killing each other left and right with no problem. You feel me? You feel me? Like, you asking a question that's real. Like, I'm in a car with Biggie and he asking me this. If it's too soon, he asked me, stay or leave. I said leave, Big. If he would have...
At least another 30 days to try to get up to date. There's like a 2-month delay, and in a murder investigation, that's not good.
In November 1997, there is an unexpected development in the case. An LAPD officer named David Mack robs $722,000 from a Bank of America. The FBI discovers suspicious evidence at his house.
The FBI did a search warrant on his house. He had 5 9mm guns. He had Tupac Shakur memorabilia all over the garage. Inside the garage was a black Impala.
Mack allegedly worked illegal security for Suge Knight and Death Row Records.
So you got a rogue cop, a criminal cop, a cop who's supposedly connected to Suge Knight, who has, some physical evidence that made him a suspect.
The disgraced officer is sentenced to 14 years in prison for the robbery. Investigators keep a close watch on Mack's behavior and are stunned when his first visitor in prison matches the sketch of Biggie's killer.
Amir Muhammad so much resembled the composite drawing that my heart just about jumped out of my chest. Apparently, he's the godfather of David Mack's kids. That's how close they are. Good friends.
Amir Muhammad was a member of the Nation of Islam. rumored to be a member of the Fruits of Islam.
I believe this was the break in the case.
Poole theorizes that Suge Knight wanted Notorious B.I.G. killed, and Knight asked the crooked cop Mack to help execute the plan. Mack then recruited his good friend Amir Muhammad to do the shooting.
Poole went to Police Chief Bernard Parks to request a warrant to search David Mack's house, hoping to find evidence the FBI could have missed that would connect Amir Muhammad and Mack to Biggie Smalls' murder.
I was denied doing another search warrant.
Of how me and Puffy, had a meeting, and they wanted me to mediate a meeting where him and Suge was concerned. That was after Tupac. And all of these people, had got killed, and it was something that I wanted to do, but I couldn't really get, between it because, things just didn't add up properly, and I don't.
But something gotta change. I don't give a fuck if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail.
Girl, it's always been about money for Diddy, and allegedly because of his greed.
Don't go to the vibe party, but every day, man, you going to the vibe party, we gonna do that. We gotta go there, man. We gotta go to the vibe party. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go there.
At the time, she...
So check this out. It's me, Tyrese, Ray J, and F. Gary Gray. I'm a type of nigga, I like variety, man. I like people that's unpredictable. I like different personalities. So I was like, I never knew they would become what they are today. But you know what I'm saying? But that sounded like the type of night I want to have in Vegas. You understand what I'm saying? So Tyrese kept on talking.
This is a Floyd fight, right?
Yeah. And Tyrese keep on talking about how you got to get back with church, and we just
noticed that, this ain't the place to be right now.
And that was before Biggie was killed?
Yeah.
How long before it was?
I think a few weeks. Before, and sometimes, and I know Puffy meant well, and I know Biggie mean well. Sometimes, a lot of individuals are what I call surface deep, where the streets are concerned, which simply means you understand them to a certain depth, you know what I mean? But I understood that wasn't definitely LA. That wasn't a good place to be because my ears was to the street, and I just wanted to echo it. It was on my spirit to let them know, and I did. And unfortunately, it didn't save him, but everybody can learn from those mistakes moving forward.
Yeah, it was a devastating loss. Both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, what they left behind.
Department.
I was told that the actual shooting was on the video.
They were very excited about it and flew to Texas to get the videotape.
It didn't actually capture the shooting. They was focusing on Biggie's car when the shots were fired.
Of how me and Puffy, had a meeting, and they wanted me to mediate a meeting where him and Suge was concerned. That was after Tupac, and all of these people, had got killed, and it was something that I wanted to do, but I couldn't really get, between it because, things just didn't add up properly.
Department.
I was told that the actual shooting was on the video.
They were very excited about it and flew to Texas to get the videotape.
It didn't actually capture the shooting. They was focusing on Biggie's car when the shots were fired.
the 5